Have you ever heard of Desmond Doss? He was an American shipyard worker, a devout religious man, and a carpenter, a seemingly normal person. Few would even remember his face passing him in the street. Just another laborer trying to make his way off his hard work and perseverance. But if life's wind blows just the right way, a seemingly average person may break through their ordinary exterior and etch themselves into history, turning from typical to extraordinary in an instant. It only happens ever so often, and requires the perfect situation to meet its ideal candidate. For Desmond Doss, his moment to shine came in the form of the greatest military conflict the world has ever seen. On a once quiet island to the south of mainland Japan, Desmond would have the opportunity to seize his moment in what would be known as the Battle of Okinawa, the single bloodiest battle of World War II. Desmond would walk out of this battle with the Medal of Honor, the highest award that could be given to a single soldier for their performance in the American military. He accomplished this feat without killing a single combatant. At the Battle of Okinawa, Desmond Doss dedicated himself not to hurting the enemy, but to healing his own men. That day, Desmond Doss saved the lives of between 50 and 100 men at the Battle of Okinawa, all while not taking a single life. Desmond's heroics may not have made him a good soldier or a good fighter, but it is unquestionable that Desmond Doss embodies what it means to be a medic.
I was praying the whole time. I just kept praying, Lord, please help me get one more. When I got this, I said, Lord, please help me get one more.
Today, we've gone from playing war games to playing digital ones. Video games have become the go-to medium used to simulate conflict of any kind. The fight between good and evil is an ongoing and dangerous one, and the heroes of battle will always need support. Medics are a vital component to the success of any team, single or multiplayer. They may not get the credit for the victory, but they're often one of the most important catalysts for success. This is, for many, what makes the medic so compelling. They are the background heroes. When the team fails, the medic is often blamed for their failure. When the team succeeds, the medic's contribution is often ignored in favor of the flashier, more offensive members of the team. A good medic is defined by this principle. They carry a heavy weight, doing a thankless job with no expectation of glory. In accordance with this idea, I've identified 3 characters that encapsulate what it means to be the team's healer. These medics have been slandered, criticized, and chastised for their failures. But that's okay. They're used to it. They're not looking for the fight. They're not looking for status. They're not looking to be selfish. They're looking at their team to keep them alive. And in the back of the minds of every medic, you can hear the same mantra repeating over and over. Please let me get one more. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. Yes, really. War Thunder is a tactically focused and historically comprehensive vehicle combat simulator built to give a complex combined arms PvP experience. There's a variety of meticulously modeled and detailed vehicles to choose from, with each one being carefully constructed to be as faithful as possible to their original counterparts. It's kind of incredible to look at how detailed and specific each of these designs are. The developers have clearly put a lot of effort into making these vehicles as historically accurate as possible, which is really cool for someone like me who's a bit of a history nerd. The selection is incredibly diverse as well, featuring over 2,000 vehicles from the past 100 years. That's over a century of history at your fingertips in the form of planes, tanks, helicopters, and ships. Not only that, but there's an in-depth customization system that offers plenty of unique skins and stickers to be applied to your vehicles. The best part? It's completely free on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. If you download War Thunder today, you'll receive an exclusive large bonus pack containing multiple premium vehicles, a premium account, an exclusive 3D decorator, and more. Available for a limited time only. So what are you waiting for? Click the link below to play War Thunder now for free. Download today to support the people who support me. Thank you War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. Something that's incredibly common in gaming's medics is their tendency to be very multifaceted characters. Like sure, Peach from Super Mario RPG is meant to be the team's primary healer, but she can also beat the most difficult secret boss in the entire game single-handedly. So, is she really a medic? Of course she is. Medics aren't usually meant to only heal, that's just the majority of what they do. Enter Donald Duck. No, not that Donald Duck. This Donald Duck.
No! Donald! No!
You're probably confused, and I don't blame you. But I promise, this makes even less sense if you know who all of these people are. Kingdom Hearts is a series of action-adventure games where the main character, Sora, fights alongside a whole host of different Disney characters. Why this is a long story, and I don't have time to explain it here. But his two primary companions are Goofy the Knight and Donald the Magician. While Donald has the ability to cast a variety of different spells and use several other abilities, his primary purpose 90% of the time is to cast healing magic. More specifically, Donald is known for using Cure, a spell that instantly restores some of Sora's health. The amount of health restored varies depending on the game and what level of Cure magic is being used, but it's always significant enough to save Sora in a pinch. Though Sora can actually use Cure on himself, manually, that's often suboptimal when magic is so vital to your combative DPS output in these games. On higher difficulties especially, conserving magic is incredibly important. Donald is here to take some of that magic use off of your shoulders. Whenever you're low on health, Donald will use Cure on you in an effort to keep you in the fight. This is immensely helpful in situations where Sora is either out of magic or unable to use any. Donald, as a medic, is something of a safety net. His purpose is to provide healing when the player is unable to for one reason or another. However, infamously, his ability to do this is, well, inconsistent, and that's being nice. Donald has a reputation among fans of Kingdom Hearts for being an awful healer, sometimes refusing to use Cure even when he has the ability to. Not to mention, Donald's defense is awful, meaning he'll likely be too dead to actually make a difference in a fight. This has led to Kingdom Hearts fans putting an immense amount of criticism on Donald's shoulders. But that's not really his fault. Due to the aforementioned low defense, especially in Kingdom Hearts 2, Donald dies really fast. Donald in this game is the Sonic the Hedgehog of dying. He just can't seem to stay alive long enough to provide the healing output he's capable of, usually due to a swarm of enemies targeting him at the start of any engagement, because he's the medic. After all, the medic is the most important member of any team. If you kill Donald, that makes bringing Sora down that much easier. And yet, that's Donald's burden to bear. His inability to keep Sora alive is his fault, and he will bear the brunt of the criticism for the many deaths that befall Kingdom Hearts players of the past, present, and future. A trait that's common of medics in real life is that of a caring spirit. There's a certain amount of human respect and compassion that is often necessary as any sort of medical caretaker. If you're going to save lives, you should also value them first. However, though that may be true of most medics, there will always be a fringe outlier here and there who value being a medic for other reasons. Perhaps they want to achieve a level of fame, caring more about their status than the survival of their patients. Perhaps they have a god complex, and want to be viewed as some sort of savior or deity to the people around them. Or, perhaps, they don't see people as individuals with lives or agency, but as walking, breathing experiments.
Anyway, that's how I lost my medical license. Archimedes! No! It's filthy in there. Ugh. Birds. No, most hearts couldn't withstand this voltage. But I'm fairly certain your heart...
What was noise?
The sound of progress, my friend.
This is Ludwig, also known as Team Fortress 2's medic, and despite his questionable sense of morality, he's easily the most consistently effective healer out of the 3 present in this video. This is largely due to Team Fortress 2's genre. Being a first-person shooter means that the medic is offered more on-the-spot control over the healing he's outputting at any given time, especially when compared to the 2 other healers. The arsenal Ludwig has also lends itself to this quick-footed style of healing. His primary tool of healing is his medigun, which shoots direct beams of healing into targets at close range. Each of the 4 available mediguns has an ubercharge meter that fills in accordance to the amount of healing being done to your target. Once the meter is full, you can unleash your Uber, an ability that can significantly increase the defensive or offensive capabilities of the person being healed. Medic also has access to a crossbow that shoots bolts of health into targets at long range. This extends the medic's available range to not just his closest teammates, but any team member that Ludwig can see. You can also replace the crossbow with these really neat syringe guns over here, but no one with half a brain would ever do that because they range from very situational to just plain bad, especially when compared to the absolute monster that is the crossbow. Both medic's primary and secondary options reward the medic for quick and decisive healing, as well as rewarding hyper-awareness of everything happening on the battlefield. These options are so well-balanced, well-designed, and complement each other so well that other games in the hero shooter genre would implement near identical replicas of Ludwig's weapons into their own respective medic characters. Medic's capabilities as a healer are insanely high, but of course, that only makes him the biggest target in any given match. With a measly 150 HP, Ludwig has to be incredibly vigilant to ensure that every single threat to his life is avoided at all costs. If you die, that ubercharge you've been building so diligently goes right back to 0, and you have to start all over again. TF2's medic can't really defend himself without his team helping him out, but that often leads to his teammates expecting him to be 100% supportive of every decision they make out in the battlefield. If the medic doesn't feel entirely comfortable charging headfirst into the enemy team with his pocket, well then it's clearly his fault when the pocket does it anyways and dies for it. Then, since his only real defense has just died, the medic has little choice but to follow suit. Ludwig lives and dies by the players that defend him. He almost never gets the credit for victory, but he's almost always blamed for defeat. As with all medics, Ludwig is consistently seen as responsible for the failings of his team. There's a stigma among TF2 players that everyone loves medic, but no one wants to play him. This is likely because of the pressure that surrounds being the team healer. Everyone expects you to perform near perfectly when you pick such an incredibly important and central class. The average player shines away from this level of ridicule and vitriol, but medic players revel in it. They don't need their team's approval to know that the work they're doing is invaluable to achieving a quick and decisive victory. Even in death, Ludwig knows how vital he is to the success of his fellow mercenaries. When discussing both of the previous medics, an important trait shared between them is the potential value that they offer to the team. Donald may not always be an immensely powerful healer at all times, but his potential healing output is insanely high under the right circumstances. And of course, Ludwig can outright win games when operating at peak efficiency, as long as he has a pocket that's also competent. This is an amazing characteristic to possess, but it has an insidious downside. For all the importance these characters possess, it only means that their deaths are more felt than any other character. The average Kingdom Hearts player cares infinitely more when Donald is out of the fight than Goofy, because Donald is more widely helpful in more situations than Goofy is. When Ludwig is picked by an enemy sniper, scout, or spy, the entire team immediately feels that loss, since they now likely have no choice but to heal at health packs until their medic respawns, which takes time and slows the team's offensive momentum. On the other hand, basically no one notices when their team's spy dies, because it's not nearly as impactful on the game as a whole. For better or for worse, the loss of the team's medic is often felt more by the player than any other death the game could throw at them.
Everyone dies eventually.
I suppose.
So we need to make the most of the time we have. To live our lives the way we want to live. Every minute, every moment matters.
Meet Aerith. She's a playable character from the famous JRPG Final Fantasy VII, who's characterized as carefree, loving, and upbeat, notably unlike either of the previous medics we've discussed. She's also the last remaining member of an ancient race called the Setra, with cool magical properties. Long story short, She's important, and throughout the game she becomes more and more connected to the various members of your team. This includes the main character, Cloud Strife, who she becomes romantically entangled with over the course of the journey. If you've ever played a Final Fantasy game, you will know that these games are often incredibly long 20, 30, even 40-hour experiences, so the player will likely spend an immense amount of time with Aerith. You'll get to know her personality, her likes, her dislikes, and of course, her battling abilities. As a member of the Cetra, she's incredibly proficient with healing magic. Her kind and compassionate nature also make her a natural at caring for the wounded and healing any ailments the team can come across. She has many moves that exemplify this role, such as her proficiency in Holy, the most powerful form of healing magic in all of Final Fantasy. However, no other ability in Aerith's arsenal displays her nature better than her ultimate move, Great Gospel. This limit break instantly heals the whole party's health, replenishes their magic, and cures any negative status effects they have. It's easily the most effective non-combative ability in the entire game. Through and through, she's a medic, and probably the single most iconic medic in a single-player game. No one else better embodies not just the role, but the selfless altruism that comes with being the savior of the team. As with all medics, it is vitally important that Aerith is kept alive at all cost, as the help that she provides to the team is invaluable. A player may begin to feel indebted to her for all she's done to help each victory. As Cloud throughout the story begins to become closer and closer to Aerith romantically, the player will see her as more and more important to them. Not only does she matter to the team strategically, but she also matters to Cloud, and therefore the player, on an emotional and romantic level. So that makes it all the more depressing when your medic has been killed, backstabbed, betrayed. What do you do now? As much as medics give, they can also be taken away. The reason why the accomplishments of Desmond Doss are so remarkable isn't just because of his heroics or altruism, though those are certainly worth celebrating. I'd argue the most impactful aspect of Desmond Doss is that he made it. He lived to tell his story. Every medic, real life or fictional, knows the value they bring to their team, even if their team doesn't really appreciate it. Ironically, the value of a medic is often given more respect by the opposition, who will take every opportunity to treat the medic as the primary target. The enemy knows that a confirmed kill is much more difficult to come by with a healer treating every wound as efficiently as possible. Similarly, the medic knows they'll be the first to be targeted, the first to be gunned down, the first to be eliminated. And yet they still go out there anyways and give their all, regardless of if they get the appreciation they deserve for their bravery. These three medics, to me, are the epitome of the phrase, "You don't know what you have until it's gone." Donald is only seen as a bad healer because of his tendency to die quickly, and not be there when you need him to be. The absence of Donald is what brings out his biggest critics. People constantly complain at Ludwig, and the people who play him, for not healing the right people in the midst of a firefight, and then get upset when no one wants to play medic anymore. When Ludwig isn't around, his allies feel vulnerable and insecure. Lastly, Aerith's death is widely regarded as one of the most narratively distressing moments in gaming history. The reason why this is because of her value not just as a character, but as a healer. When the medic in a team is lost, the player instantly realizes how much their comrade truly meant to them, both strategically and emotionally. I think the same could be said for medics in real life. Not necessarily just the physical ones, but the emotional medics of the world. I'd wager a large portion of the people watching this video can think of someone in their life who's always looking out for others. They're others-minded. Maybe they're a friend or a family member or someone you just know offhand, but regardless, they're always checking on the people around them. These people are emotional medics. They're always looking to heal the wounds brought onto their comrades on a day-to-day basis. Life isn't easy. Sometimes it can feel like a battle, a struggle to just get through the next day on the calendar. But these people know that. They're willing to leave their own battlefield for a bit and give some brevity to someone else. These people are few and far between. Most of them do this job with no expectation of being repaid. To them, the smiles on the faces of the people that they help are all they need to feel compensated. Of course, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be paid back for their efforts. It can be easy to take the medic for granted, but it's important to take care of them too. They're people, working hard and getting through life just as much as the people that they look to help. The medics of the world always appreciate being appreciated. They never expect it though. They don't need it either. The only payment they need is the knowledge that they could bring joy and color to the lives of someone else. And every time they put a smile on someone else's face, in their mind, they're only thinking one thing. Please let me get one more. Thank you again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Download it now by clicking the link in the description and get a large bonus pack with multiple premium vehicles, a premium account, an exclusive 3D decorator for your vehicles, and much more. But remember, it's only available for a limited time. Thank you so much to War Thunder for sponsoring this video.